It's midnight and you tune in to Nightline with me, Zahir, Kelvin and Abdullah. The top stories: Thailand Cambodia border calm as military commanders hold talks. And Malaysia and Indonesia agree to intensify cooperation in maintaining security in Sulu and Sulawesi seas. A ceasefire between Thailand and Cambodia held on Tuesday, with military commanders from both sides meeting to discuss ways to maintain the truce. This includes negotiations between the general leading Thailand's 2nd Region Army, which oversees the stretch of the frontier that has seen the heaviest fighting during the conflict, and his Cambodian counterpart. The commanders who met at the border agreed to maintain the ceasefire, stop any troop movement and facilitate the return of the wounded and dead bodies. The talks came after a sustained push by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim and US President Donald Trump. The delegation is led by Armed Forces Chief General Tan Sri Muhammad Nizam Jafar. In a statement, the Armed Forces Defence Intelligence and Strategic Communications Division said that following Tuesday's meeting between the regional commanders of both countries, the parties reached a renewed agreement on several key matters. These included upholding the ceasefire agreement, prohibiting attacks on civilians, and halting any further troop reinforcements. Both sides also agreed to prohibit the movement of military forces, facilitate the return of wounded and deceased personnel, and establish a coordination team consisting of 4 representatives from each side. They will also await further discussions and decisions based on the outcome of the upcoming General Border Committee GBC meeting scheduled for August 4th. In Jakarta, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said ASEAN is prepared to take on a greater role if necessary to ensure that the ceasefire at the Thailand-Cambodia border is upheld.
Attaché pertahanan semua negara ASEAN diminta untuk pantau kesepadan, dan kalau difikirkan perlu, beberapa negara telah menyatakan persetujuan untuk mengirim pasukan perdamaian sekiranya atau seandainya difikirkan perlu. Setakat ini saya tidak fikir begitu kerana kesediaan kedua-dua negara ini cari penyelesaian yang baik.
He said this at a press conference following the conclusion of his 2-day working visit to Indonesia on Tuesday. He added that Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Hassan had confirmed to him that the ceasefire is being observed despite a brief delay of several hours. Anwar also emphasized that ASEAN countries, including Indonesia, will continue to assist in assuring the implementation of the agreed ceasefire. During his visit to the ASEAN Secretariat in Jakarta, Anwar described the ceasefire between Cambodia and Thailand as a clear reflection of ASEAN's strong convening power and its constructive role in upholding regional stability. While delivering his policy speech on ASEAN, Anwar underscored the importance of the regional bloc's member states remaining firmly committed to resolving conflicts through dialogue and peaceful negotiation. He pointed to the unconditional ceasefire agreement between Thailand and Cambodia reached during a special meeting in Putrajaya on Monday as a clear demonstration of this commitment in action.
Just yesterday, in our capacity as ASEAN chair, Malaysia was entrusted with the responsibility of hosting the leaders of Cambodia and Thailand at a time when tensions on their border had become a cause of grave concern to us all. But despite the dangerous and escalating situation, it was both vital and possible to bring the two sides to the negotiating table.
He added that the presence and cooperation of all parties reaffirm the principle that lasting peace is best achieved through dialogue, mutual respect, and a collective commitment to stability. He further stated that by consistently upholding the ASEAN Charter and the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation, the bloc can continue to enhance the long-term benefits of peace and unity in the region.
The Prime Minister's decision to invite representatives from the United States and China to the ceasefire talks is seen as a strategic move. Geostrategist Azmi Hassan believes it was done to help secure a successful ceasefire agreement.
So I think the Prime Minister took a bold step by inviting both superpowers so that there is some leverage, there is some guarantee from both the superpowers that whatever decision made by the chairman of ASEAN during negotiation is backed by both these superpowers. So I would say that this is a tactical decision.
He added that credit must be given to Anwar for demonstrating Malaysia's ability to serve as a fair and neutral mediator. Malaysia and Indonesia have agreed to intensify cooperation in maintaining security in the Sulu and Sulawesi Seas through the Trilateral Cooperation Agreement (TCA) framework. This was agreed upon during the 13th annual consultation held on Tuesday between Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim and Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto in Jakarta.
Earlier, the Prime Minister and the Malaysian delegation were received by Prabowo upon their arrival at the Istana Merdeka. Both leaders then held a one-on-one meeting before proceeding with the main agenda, the 13th annual consultation. During the discussions, a range of key issues were addressed, including the goal of boosting bilateral trade to $30 billion and enhancing investment cooperation in Indonesia's new capital, Nusantara. Anwar highlighted that Malaysia's investments in Indonesia's strategic sectors are driven by a sincere commitment to promoting regional prosperity. Both sides also discussed the long overdue finalization of land and maritime border agreements between the two countries.
Jadi semangat kita ialah untuk sama-sama menjaga kepentingan negara masing-masing dan menghormati kaedah persempadanan yang ditentukan oleh hukum antarabangsa. Jadi kita maju dengan semangat itu supaya tidak ada ketegangan. Tapi sementara itu kita beri laluan, jangan terganggu kepentingan nelayan, kepentingan dagang dan penduduk sekitar itu.
During the meeting, Anwar and Prabowo also emphasized the importance of presenting a united front on global issues, including the anti-palm oil campaign and the ongoing atrocities committed by the Israeli regime in Gaza. Both leaders also witnessed the signing of 4 memoranda of understanding covering border matters, health, information and communications, as well as internet governance.
The government will implement a coordinated multi-agency strategy to tackle the surge in child sexual crimes, which have been increasing by over 50% in just 4 years. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi stressed that the issue is concerning, with the number of victims also rising by 55.7% over the same period.
In a statement following the second 2025 meeting of the National Social Council, Zahid said the government will implement an integrated approach involving the Home Ministry, Police, Youth and Sports Ministry, as well as Women, Family and Community Development Ministry to address the issue firmly and effectively. He also cited worrying statistics showing a 53.2% increase in child sexual crimes from 2,541 cases in 2020 to 3,892 in 2024. Zahid also noted that technological advances have allowed for more sophisticated criminal methods, including deepfake technology and identity theft, necessitating stronger inter-agency coordination and digital awareness strategies, as well as preventive and educational initiatives.
The newly revised electricity tariff structure now includes clearer cost breakdowns reflecting the true cost of power supply. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Fadillah Yusof said this will ensure a fair and equitable distribution of costs among all users while minimizing the impact of changes on domestic users.
Fadillah, who is also Energy Transition and Water Transformation Minister, explained that the new structure will also detail the energy charges, capacity charges, network charges and retail charges for each user compared to the previous structure, which only featured energy charges and a minimum charge component.
Setiap 6 bulan kita akan pastikan berapakah average kenaikan harga gas, harga arang batu dan sebagainya. Komponen-komponen itu nanti akan di-adjust setelah 6 bulan. Tapi sekarang ni apa yang kita lakukan ialah ianya akan di-adjust setiap bulan melalui AFA.
He added that the revised structure is more transparent and can help educate consumers about the various cost components involved in electricity supply. To help the public better understand the new tariff structure, a series of infographics have been released to educate users about the newly introduced components.
Still at the Dewan Rakyat, commercial vehicles not equipped with speed limiting devices, SLDs, will not be allowed on the roads. Transport Minister Anthony Loke said the measure is crucial to reduce the risk of fatal accidents, particularly those involving buses and lorries.
Loke explained that the installation of SLDs aims to prevent accidents such as the recent crash in Gurik, Perak on June 9th, which resulted in the deaths of 15 students from University Pendidikan Sultan Idris. Preliminary investigations revealed that the bus involved was travelling above the permitted speed limit, which was one of the key factors contributing to the fatal accident.
Apa yang kita laksanakan untuk cuba mengelakkan kemalangan iaitu daripada sos ataupun punca kemalangan itu, iaitu kelajuan. Bagaimana kita nak mengawal kelajuan? Salah satu caranya ialah melalui teknologi dengan SLD.
He noted that the use of SLDs has long been mandatory for commercial vehicles in countries such as those in Europe and Singapore. In Malaysia, enforcement will be carried out in 3 phases, starting with the verification of SLD functionality in all commercial vehicles manufactured after January 1st this year.
The August House was also told that the public needs to have the ability to verify online content, particularly that produced by artificial intelligence AI. Communications Minister Datuk Fahmi Fadzil said this would complement ongoing and planned enforcement efforts by the government to tackle the issue.
Pengguna juga perlu ada satu kesedaran bahawa bukan semua yang kita saksikan dalam terutama media sosial itu benar. Kita perlu ada satu keupayaan untuk melakukan pengesahan yang mudah, a simple verification mechanism, dan dia bukan sekadar melibatkan generative AI, Gen AI, seperti deepfake dan sebagainya.
He added that the government is currently studying the need for social media platforms to label AI-generated or deceptively fake content to avoid public confusion. On a separate matter, Fahmi revealed that the government is reviewing the possibility of prohibiting children under the age of 13 from having social media accounts. This measure is intended to protect them from harmful content online.
Malaysia recorded its highest ever total trade in 2024, exceeding 2 trillion ringgit for the 4th consecutive year. According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, DOSM, the performance reflects the country's economic resilience and strong trade relationships with global partners. Total trade rose by 9.2% last year with a trade surplus of 139 billion ringgit. Exports increased by 5.8%, driven by shipments of electrical and electronic E&E products, machinery and palm oil. This was driven by higher shipments to the United States, which recorded the highest export growth, followed by Taiwan, Singapore, India and Indonesia. Imports also surged to 1.4 trillion ringgit, which was led by China, followed by the US, Taiwan and Singapore. Malaysians' overall financial position remains stable despite household debt reaching 1.65 trillion ringgit. Deputy Finance Minister Lim Hui Ying said this is because household financial assets continue to exceed total debt. According to Lim Hui Ying, household assets exceed debt by 2.1 times, providing a solid buffer for Malaysian households. She also said that credit regulatory measures remain in place, with the debt service ratio staying at a prudent level. The household debt level represents 84.3% of the gross domestic product, GDP. Foreign direct investment into Indonesia dropped 6.95% in the second quarter from a year earlier to $12.3 billion, marking the deepest contraction in 5 years. Speaking to the media on Tuesday, Investment Minister Rosan Roslani said rising geopolitical tensions have dampened investor sentiment and heightened global competition for capital. Despite the slowdown, he said the government remains optimistic about ending the year with stronger investment growth. This marks the biggest quarterly drop in FDI since a 9.2% fall recorded in the first quarter of 2020. As of June, total investment, including from domestic sources, stood at $57.45 billion, or nearly half of Indonesia's 2025 target of $118 billion. Woman arrested after exotic animals found in luggage. This and more from the local front after this break.
Rina, apa nak buat bila bersara? Tak pastilah, tapi macam-macam boleh buat. Cuaca berdebu biasanya akan ada masalah paru-paru. Bagi yang menghidapi asma, harus ada persiapan pendiri. Perlu ke daftar kelas motivasi diri? Mungkin perlu. Hati-hati, jangan sampai menjerat diri. Waspada aktiviti air, anak-anak, kes lemas baru-baru ini jadikan iktibar. Mengharungi kesesakan lalu lintas, ketahui kos petrol kenderaan anda. MSI setiap Isnin hingga Jumaat 10 pagi hanya di TV3.
Unlocking the future of business.
From industry evolutions to policy changes, we go beyond the headlines.
Deep insights, sharp analysis.
Understanding the forces driving tomorrow's economy.
Key financial insights that drive decisions.
This is Money Matters, every Saturday, 5 p.m.
Only on TV3 and stream now on Tonton.
Engkau, esok kau filekan bercerai dengan Wasim. Kenapa you nak anak kan?
Ya, anak-anak. Tapi anak dengan you.
I tak boleh pregnant. I tak nak mengandung. Tolonglah Nisa, kita sama-sama carikan isteri untuk Abang Wasim. Habis tu Kak Ita ni apa? Melawan. Nisa lah orang yang paling tepat. Habis tu, sekarang ni Nisa pula yang nak kena jadi mangsa.
Kau nak madu dengan Nisa itu? Itu yang kau nak?
Apa sah? Tak boleh? Salah? Haram ke?
Aku masih sayangkan kau, faham tak?
Nisa buat semua ni demi Kak Ita, tahu tak?
Siapa pandai-pandai kahwinkan anak aku?
Dalam setiap pertandingan, kan ada yang menang, ada yang kalah.
Tak nak. Tak kira. Ita kena menang. Ita dah buat semua benda, dah prepare untuk menang. Tak boleh kalah-kalah. Ingat aku jealous. Kau jangan main gila dengan Zarita Maling.
Thanks for staying with us. A post-mortem on the body of 6-year-old Tishan Munisami on Tuesday revealed that he died from strangulation due to pressure applied to the neck. Negeri Sembilan Police Chief Dato' Ahmad Zahir said the report indicated the victim had been killed using a cable tie.
Earlier, a somber atmosphere hung over the forensic unit in Rembau Hospital as the victim's mother, accompanied by family members, waited for the post-mortem examination to be completed. The victim's body was then claimed at around 4 p.m. and brought back to Johor Bahru. Last Thursday, Tishant was reported missing in the Taman Bukit Indah area in Iskandar Puteri before his body was discovered buried near a railway track in Rompin on Monday. Following the discovery, the boy's 36-year-old father has been remanded until this Thursday to assist with investigations into the murder case. The suspect was arrested on July 24th after he lodged a missing persons report. Initial questioning by the police suggests that the suspect was facing marital issues and undergoing a divorce. However, the motive behind the murder has yet to be determined.
A 36-year-old woman was arrested at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport, KLIA, for attempting to smuggle several protected exotic animals out of the country. The suspect, a local, was nabbed by the Malaysian Border Control and Protection Agency, MBCA, during a routine inspection at KLIA Terminal 1 around 9:10 p.m. on Monday.
In a statement, MBCA said 9 animals comprising 4 Siamang gibbons, 4 sugar gliders and 1 macaque were discovered in the women's luggage. The agency added that the woman from Negeri Sembilan was scheduled to board a flight to Hyderabad, India. The animals are believed to have been intended for illegal international trade with an estimated value of 127,000 ringgit. The suspect was subsequently taken to the KLIA police station for further investigation. The case is being investigated under the Wildlife Conservation Act and the International Trade in Endangered Species Act.
The government has been ordered to pay 1.1 million ringgit in damages to the mother of a late Dutch model who was found dead on the 6th floor of a condominium in 2017. Kuala Lumpur High Court Judge Ros Mawar Rosain ruled that there was institutional failure and serious negligence in the investigation of the case.
In her judgment, Rose Mawar said there were breaches in the duty of care by the authorities, including failures in managing the crime scene, preserving evidence and following proper forensic procedures. The court also instructed the police to reopen the investigation as previously ordered by the High Court in 2019. Additionally, the Attorney General's Chambers AGC is to assess the sufficiency of the evidence and decide on the next course of action. Ivana Esther Robert Smith, who was 18, was found dead on the 6th floor of Cap Square residence on December 7, 2017, after falling from a unit on the 20th floor. An inquest held in 2018 determined that her death was a misadventure. Smith's mother, Christina Caroline Gerarda Johanna Verstappen, filed the lawsuit on behalf of the family in 2020, naming, among others, the government and the police as defendants.
Police officer among 5 killed in Manhattan shooting. The details when Nightline returns.
Tengah rancak bersembang, tiba-tiba senyap cerah. Ghosting ke tu? Awak suka makan nasi kan? Jomlah saya belanja. Nasi biryani, nasi kerabu, semua pun saya suka. Tapi kan hubungan sekarang ni 50-50 lelaki bayar atau semua kena wajib sediakan? Saya tetap pilih lelaki sebagai provider. Kalau cakap buat harta, ramai membalah ni. Jom kita fahamkan tentang wasiat dan juga pusaka. Dah lama mendirikan rumah tangga, resi kena lini tau. Barulah rasa macam baru bercinta. Semuanya di Wanita Hari Ini dan stream sekarang ditonton.
Dari ratusan bakat dan puluhan idea luar biasa, hanya yang terbaik berjaya menambat hati juri. Tahniah kepada semua pemenang pencarian pelakon drama sangat dan pitch story anda ke TV3. Inilah wajah-wajah dan karya yang bakal menggegarkan industri drama tanah air. Terima kasih atas sokongan anda semua. TV3 sentiasa bersamamu 41 tahun penuh drama.
Dalam tempoh 30 kali mangsa dirogol ni, mangsa tidak dapat melawan sebab kerana mangsa adalah seorang yang OKU fizikal, ayah dia juga merupakan seorang yang panas baran.
Ayah pun tak sekolah benda ni akan berlaku.
Saya nak betulkan keadaan persepsi masyarakat ni. Lagipun saya seorang imam. Itu tanggungjawab saya. Dunia akhirat saya akan bertanggungjawab.
Annyeonghaseyo. Cinggu, jom kita jalan-jalan di Korea Selatan. Sambil menyanyi dan menari dengan idola K-pop anda semua. Dancetargram setiap Rabu hingga Jumaat 11 malam di Cam Sarang TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Nightline continues. A total of 2,400 tons of humanitarian aid from Malaysian successfully entered Gaza early Monday via the King Hussein Bridge crossing in Jordan. The delivery marks the first cross-border success by a Malaysian non-governmental organization since Israel closed all entry points to Palestine on March 2nd. The aid came as at least 62 people were killed in Israeli strikes across Gaza since dawn on Tuesday, including 19 aid seekers, despite pauses in fighting to deliver essential aid. The Zionist regime reportedly used booby-trapped robots along with tanks and drones during what residents describe as one of the bloodiest nights in recent weeks. The casualties include 7 Palestinians who were killed by Israeli gunfire near 8 centers north of Rafah, while 4 more were killed in an Israeli bombing of a tent sheltering displaced people in Al-Mawasi. At least 30 people were killed and tens of thousands were forced to evacuate as areas of northern China were lashed by torrential downpours that sparked deadly landslides on Tuesday. The deaths occurred in Beijing's mountainous northern districts, with 28 killed in Miyun and 2 in Yangqing. Authorities in Beijing have relocated more than 80,000 residents from areas worst hit by flooding, which has damaged dozens of roads and cut power to at least 136 villages. Officials also ordered the release of water from a reservoir in Beijing's rural Miyun district, which was at its highest level since it was built in 1959. The rains are expected to last into Wednesday. At least 18 people were killed in eastern India on Tuesday after a bus ferrying Hindu pilgrims collided with a truck loaded with cooking gas cylinders. Officials confirmed the incident, which left the bus severely mangled and partially burned in Jharkhand. The pilgrims were reportedly travelling to a Hindu shrine to celebrate the sacred month of Shravan, a period marked by monsoon rains. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed grief over the incident, calling it extremely tragic. In the US, 5 people, including a police officer and the gunman, were killed in a shooting at a skyscraper in central Manhattan, New York on Monday. The incident began at about 6 p.m. local time when the 27-year-old suspect entered 345 Park Avenue and opened fire, fatally shooting a New York City police officer and 3 others before turning the gun on himself. 3 victims were shot in the building's lobby, while the 4th was killed on an upper floor. The suspect, identified as Shane Devon Tamura from Las Vegas, was found dead on the 33rd floor from a suspected self-inflicted gunshot wound. Authorities are still investigating his motive and why he targeted the Park Avenue building. On to sports now, bowling and the 2025 Under-18 Asian Junior Championships. Malaysia's Kuratu Ain Izdihar Pozi continued her golden streak in Doha by partnering Adilia Noor Shazali to emphatically clinch the girls' doubles title on Tuesday, ending the country's 8-year title drought in the event.
Kuratu Ain and Adilia combined for a 12-game total of 2,440, finishing well ahead of Taiwan's Ho Yi King, Huang Xin Sen and Li Yi Ru, Chen Yun Ying. It marked Malaysia's first goal in the event since 2017, when Putri Nurul Dini and Gillian Lim triumphed on home soil in Kuching. Kuratu Ain, who also won the singles gold on Sunday, is now a double gold medalist in Doha, underlining her status as one of Malaysia's brightest young bowling prospects. With 2 goals already secured, Malaysia are off to a flying start as they aim to surpass last year's 3-goal haul.
Moving on to badminton, National Singles Coaching Director Kenneth Yonison has finally broken his silence following Malaysia's disappointing run at the Asian Junior Championships in Solo, Indonesia last week. Despite the setback, Yonison remains optimistic and ambitious, insisting that with the right training and patience, the current group of players can rise to the occasion.
The 51-year-old Dane admitted the results were not entirely unexpected considering the players' current level, though he had certainly hoped for better. He also shared that while he dreams big, his goals remain grounded in reality. Johannesson revealed that he and his coaching team have identified 3 immediate focus areas: physical conditioning, tactical discipline, and mental resilience. Pressure continues to mount on the Dane after Malaysia ended their campaign without a single medal, a sharp contrast to 2024 when the juniors returned with 1 silver and 3 bronzes.
And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we go, let's take a moment to enjoy the sight of dozens of hot air balloons rising into the sky over Hageville, France, part of a global gathering where visitors can also join in the experience. With that, I'm Zahir, Kelvin, Abdullah. Thank you for watching and stay safe.